I extend a warm welcome to everyone over here. My name is Alicia, and I am a part of the Changemaker20 Summit. I am part of the event team. I welcome you all to the Changemaker20 Summit, which is a very first of its kind summit. And this is under the aegis of G20, C20, and Y20. Today, we gather here not to merely mark an occasion, but to unite for a greater purpose. The summit basically aims to forge connections beyond boundaries, celebrating the potency of collaboration. So I'm very, very grateful that Breakthrough has agreed to collaborate with us, and that too at such a short notice. And we are about to chart new territories and confront global challenges, and that is why we unite under the banner of a positive change. We are gathered here for this interesting panel discussion, which is creating a gender equitable world, and the strategic pathways and approaches to sort of achieve a gender equitable world. And I will now introduce our panelists and our moderator. So we are very grateful for Anjali, Pritha, Dr. Abhishek, Ramneek, and Barsha. I'll start with Anjali. Anjali is a 19-year-old and has been engaged with Breakthrough from the last 4 years as a team change leader. She is very passionate about supporting young girls and women in the community and is an active bystander as she intervenes in incidences of violence and discrimination around her. She is in BA first year and also became an inspiration for many girls of her community who were restricted to pursue their aspirations. She has been selected in the 2023 Asian Girls in Action project, which focuses on girls' leadership and is organized by the Garden of Hope Foundation. Anjali, I personally extend a warm welcome to you, and we are very grateful that you are here. Thank you very much. Next is Pritha. Pritha Chatterjee. She is the Deputy Director of Partnerships in Breakthrough and has been working with Breakthrough on strategic pathways for ensuring gender transformative education system. She has a PhD in social geography and has more than 12 years of experience of working the interface of gender equality, poverty, and sustainable development. She has worked and led multi-state programs with a focus on inclusive and gender-responsive systems. She has represented Breakthrough in different public platforms and forums such as the C20, where she has contributed to the policy discussions on education and skill development. Pritha, yes. Thank you so much, Pritha, for joining us today. Pritha will be also moderating the panel for today's discussion. Um, Thanks a lot. Now, Dr. Abhishek. So, Dr. Abhishek is a PhD graduate from IIT Delhi and has 15 plus years of experience in monitoring and evaluation and research across various organizations. Dr. Abhishek is the Senior Manager of Programs and Monitoring at Breakthrough, which is a non-profit organization that works to end violence against women and girls. In his current role, he is responsible for developing and monitoring projects, leading data analysis and evaluation activities, and overseeing the development of reports pertaining to program performance. Driven by a passion for innovation, he inspires teams to embrace impact-driven approaches. His legacy includes a commitment to research and continuous learning, driving positive change worldwide. Thank you, Dr. Abhishek. Thank you so much for being here with us. And we are very sure that you would be contributing meaningful opinions to this panel today, and we are looking forward to it. Next is Ramneek. Hi, Ramneek. So Ramneek has more than a decade experience in the development sector. She has demonstrated expertise and gathered deep experience across multiple areas of engagement. Among other things, program planning and management, designing and facilitating leadership journeys, curriculum and content development, social entrepreneurship, nurturing partnerships, and organizational development. She has led program strategy, management, and implementation with grassroots partner organizations to work extensively with adolescents and young people with a focus on youth leadership and social inclusion. She is passionate about bringing in an intersectional feminist lens in her work towards creating an inclusive society. She is currently working as a senior manager in Breakthrough Strategic Partnership and Scale Up Center. Thank you, Ramneek, for being here with us. Finally, we have Barsha. Barsha is a development professional with over 14 years of experience as a gender rights specialist with global organizations focused on evidence-based campaign, policy, and social behavior change communication. She has been working on the issues of structural exclusions, violence, disaster risk reduction, and digital rights. She started her development sector journey working with Safai Karmachari Andolan, a campaign against manual scavenging, followed by ActionAid, and has the opportunity to work with various intersectional grassroots organizations working among the most marginalized communities in India. Varsha is part of Breakthrough India and she is the Deputy Director of Digital Programs and Partnerships. She has been part of various national and global digital rights working groups, networks, alliances as a gender expert, and has been contributing to building inclusive digital media. Thank you so much for being here with us, Varsha. Thank you very much to the Breakthrough team to engage, to sort of agree to engage in this meaningful panel. I would now hand this floor over to Pritha to sort of start the panel. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
So the session for today is on creating a gender equitable world, strategic pathways and approaches, and we will basically be talking about how to bring about gender norm change through the work that we do, and how do we engage with adolescents and youth, and how these kind of engagements in the long term help us to address gender-based violence and prevents them from happening in the first place. A little bit about Breakthrough. We are a 23-year-old organization working primarily with adolescents and young adults in schools and communities to bring in a generational shift in the discriminatory norms that leads and perpetuates violence against women and girls. Through our interventions, we have reached almost to around 1 million adolescents in the 4 states of Jharkhand, Delhi, UP, and Haryana. We recently have scaled up our work in the 2 states of Odisha and Punjab, and our main aim is to create a gender transformative education system through government partnerships. So like I was talking about our adolescent empowerment program in the 4 states of Haryana, UP, Jharkhand, and Delhi. So I have Abhishek with me, who's part of the Uttar Pradesh programs team. And Abhishek, if I can come to you. So if you want to share something around the adolescent empowerment program, how do you see the impacts of the program in increasing the aspirations of young girls? And if you want to highlight some of the strategies you use and why do we focus on adolescents for our program? And before Abhishek takes it on, I just also want to say that we will be speaking both in Hindi and English. So over to you, Abhishek.
Thank you, Pritha. As you said, Breakthrough has started their journey in around 1998, approx 23-24 years ago. So it was started. Actually, we saw the patriarchal norms, which are deeply embedded in the society, which directly dictate the girls that they are subordinate to the boys, and their primary role is taken to take care of household chores and their families. So it's basically these things becomes girls more marginalized, and they are more likely to be subjected to violence and discrimination. So resulting these things generate early marriage, more violence against them, economically exploit, and other than that, these are all lack of access to education and health. So in that sense, Breakthrough adopt the adolescent empowerment program because we we believe that adolescent age is the best age where we break the norms or we change the norms, because these are the next generation where we have basically they take the action, they have better understanding. So in that sense, Breakthrough runs their program in 4 states, as you said, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Delhi, and Jharkhand. And we work basically socio-ecological model, where we not taking only adolescent, but along with the adolescent, individual level, we works with their families, where their parents, grandparents, other family members. Along with that, we also work with at community level, where other member PRIs, frontline workers, and other gatekeepers are involved. Also, in that sense, on the next level, we also make a change at the society level, where we work with the government officials to change the policy in sense of girls' education and their priorities. So, on the sense of above, basically breakthrough work with in the four pillar. First is the like gender transformative education, where we use a Taro Ki Toli module. It is a gender transformative curriculum. It's a 2-year cohort, 2-year program with the same cohort, where we build the skill. Basically, we build the life skills with them. Where we build the self-confidence, self-esteem. Among that, along with that, also we work with the adolescent girls and boys in terms of their education turns into the career, where where they protect themselves against violence and build the confidence and self-esteem. Other than that, we also work with the Team Change Leader. It's a youth leadership program, because TCL is an effective way where they involve more community people to engage in these issues. Also, teachers are trained to address their issues and engage their peers. This helps to create a safe environment in terms of girls' safety, as well as it's more helps to make the program sustainable. In the last leg, we have a major community mobilization chunk, where it's all the community members are involved and come at the same page, where we have discussed some sensitive issues like health prospects of girls, as well as the violence issues which basically happen in their communities, or like so these platforms are more supportive environment where girls are grows and share their thoughts on those platforms. So these are the things where Breakthrough is working.
Explained how through the adolescent empowerment program we use different kinds of strategies. So we not only engage with the adolescent, but we also engage with parents, we also engage with the larger community, which acts as a support system for the adolescent. And you also mentioned about the Team Change Leader program, where we see the Team Change leaders taking ahead of our work, where they not only change the norms affecting their lives, but also the peers. And we have Anjali with us, who will speak after a while. And Anjali is a Team Change leader. But so taking on from Abhishek, so where we have the adolescent empowerment program, we looked at it as a sandbox of innovation. And then we got into two government partnerships in the states of Punjab and Odisha. And now we have scaled up our intervention, and we have Ramneek from the Scale Up team to talk more about that. And Ramneek, if you want to share about how through the Scale Up work, Breakthrough is kind of navigating its norm change work, and if you want to speak more around the roles of the different stakeholders, etc. Over to you, Ramneek.
Thank you, Pratham. Am I audible? So I think, first of all, I think we believe that to scale up norm change work, it's very crucial to bring systemic change. And we feel that to be able to do that, one has to work with existing structures and institutions which are mainstream. So therefore, we work in partnership with institutions, whether it's the state governments, the CSOs, UN bodies, etc. Specifically, the program around gender transformative education you had mentioned earlier, we work with the state government education departments. So we work in two states, Punjab and Odisha, and we work in Punjab, we work in partnership with PSEB, which is the Department of School Education, Government of Punjab. And in Odisha, we work with OSIPA, which is the Odisha School Education Program Authority. We also work with other partners as part of the scale-up work. Some of our other partners include Co-Impact, JPAL, Kevalia Education Foundation, and Echidna Giving. Now, as part of this scale-up work to create gender transformative schools, our first step that we've taken has been to create gender progressive content. We are doing this by bringing in a gender lens into the school curricula. And this curricula is grounded in contextual needs and priorities of the state education department. We've integrated gender as part of this curriculum in some of the subjects of secondary schools. And we hope that this will bring about attitudinal shifts and gender equitable environments in schools. Besides, I think working on the curriculum, obviously we also realized the need for doing training with the teachers. So to be able to do that, we follow a cascade model where we work directly with the master trainers. These master trainers are district and block level mentors. In Punjab, we have done the trainings directly with them. And then these people then further build teachers' expertise on gender. So that the teachers are then able to effectively take forward the gender lens in the curriculum. And the teachers are also responsible in a huge way in creating a more gender sensitive environment in schools. When we do this capacity building, we also do this in a very experiential training way, where we work on training them on gender and also on curriculum delivery. We have also created additional resources for teachers to support their work on bringing gender equitable behaviors in school. Besides teachers, we also realize, because Breakthrough keeps socio-ecological model at the center of every work, we also feel that it's very important to engage with parents in conversations on gender. So we do that through SMC meetings, like school management committee meetings, and we also do that through parent-teacher meetings. We also plan to design and execute targeted messaging to influence parents for effectively engaging with the schools and also become aware of the need for gender equity. And with that, we hope that they can also carry out intergenerational dialogue with more empathy, and which can effectively help them to change their perception about also girl child education. Because that's another thing that we feel is very important given the dropout rate of girls from schools, especially during the pandemic. The other thing that we do as part of creating gender sensitive environment in schools is also to help school meet some safety indicators. So some of the non-negotiable indicators that we feel are critical for a safe and discrimination-free schools are, absolutely no corporal punishment. We also feel that non-acceptance of discrimination based on caste, gender, disability, etc. is very, very critical. Creation of student councils, which are more diverse also in nature, that's another very critical thing. And ensuring that bullying of any kind, verbal, physical abuse, are completely unacceptable in the school. So that's another thing. Besides that, with the school administration also, it's important that we are able to help them prioritize gender. So we sensitize them to become capable of mentoring teachers on bringing more gender equitable behaviors into the classrooms. And I think the plan is to do that also by working closely with the district and block education officials. Cluster coordinators are also important part of this. I think that's pretty much it in terms of, and we're also working on introducing a review and monitoring mechanisms for teachers, and a statewide reward and recognition mechanism for gender equitable behaviors in classrooms, in schools. These are some of the other things that we are working towards.
That resonates a lot with what Abhishek also said when we are talking about gender equitable classrooms and gender equitable behavior. The onus is not only on the adolescent, but also the larger society, and that is where we bring in different stakeholders into the purview of our work. And I think what you talk about curriculum integration and integrating progressive content into the current mainstream education and all is something that we are experiencing through the Scale Up program. So from there, I think I'll move on to Anjali. So Anjali is here with me. So Anjali is our team change leader, and she's from Gurgaon. So like Abhishek had said, our team change leaders are the youth leaders who work on ground. And I would request Anjali to share some of her journey कि उसने क्या सीखा अब तक and what has been some of the challenges वो हमारे साथ क्या शेयर करना चाहती है, some of the learnings, what has been some of the experiences that she has taken in the community. So over to you, Anjali.
So thank you. And
अंजलि का आवाज सुनाई दे रहा है? और हाँ, okay, thank you.
So my name is Anjali and I'm 19 years old and I belong to Hilimandi village from Gurugram district, and I have been engaged with Breakthrough for last years, and at present I am engaged as team change leader with Breakthrough Trust, and in my community girls are not allowed to go to schools, college. They just complete their school education and get married. So I got so many sessions from Taruki Tolly by Breakthrough and learned negotiation and communication. I communicated and negotiation with my parents, and at present I am BA second year, and I overcome economic challenges and social pressure to become a strong and empowered youth. Being a team change leader, I am very passionate about supporting young girls and women in the community, and I am working on this. I am part of a global campaign named Asian Girls in Action Project by Garden of Hope. This project focuses on girls' leadership and importance of girls' education. I'm actively promoting this issue at global level and representing India. The Asian Girls campaign in Asian countries and education as its core value. This project was initiated in June and will be till October 23rd. Goal of my project is creating awareness on the value of education and aspiration of adolescents and young girls. And why I am focusing on this project? India is a great country where people speak different languages and diverse culture with 1.3 billion people. India has 28 states and Delhi is the capital of India. India consists of 40% population under the age of 18, which is huge, and the female ratio is also 48.6. Adolescent consists 20% and youth up to 18 years old consists 20%, total in 40%. In India, adolescent girls are deprived from basic rights and unable to realize their full potential. Haryana, where the project will be implemented, has lowest sex ratio in India with figure of 879 female per thousand males. Due to patriarchal thought, people don't want to have girl children and they do sex selection abortions, although it is illegal. On an average, a girl in India receives less than 4 years of education in her lifetime, and dropping out from the education system, early marriage, and they entered in a vicious cycle of violence for their whole life. Hilimandi village, my project area, this population is 20,906 in this village, where 24.6% population is social economically, whereas 10% population comes under below poverty line. As per the government system, this village is very patriarchal and girls are not allowed to go for the higher education. So girls should study up to 10th or 12th class and then get married. Girls don't allowed to go outside from their homes alone. Girls don't get times as boys in the community. I will
address girls' education challenges through my project. I want every girl can complete school education and can get higher education. I will try to convince at least 30% in my communities to enroll their girl children in college from higher education, and also want to convince each girls with her parents who dropped out due to various reasons will re-enroll. So objective of my project. Anjali, I would also request you, you were sharing with me before the webinar that how you helped girls from your own community to continue studying. Do you want to share a little bit on that? Or you can talk about that later also.
Okay. मेरी एक फ्रेंड है जिसका नाम तो मैं नहीं लूंगी. सो उसका मुझे कॉल आया कि अंजलि दीदी, वो मुझे दीदी बुलाती है कि दीदी मेरे पेरेंट्स मुझे मार रहे हैं, पीट रहे हैं और मुझे कह रहे हैं कि तू घर का काम कर एंड यू डोंट गो टू स्कूल. सो मैंने कहा क्यों, ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हैं? तो शी सेड कि मेरी जो बुआ जी, क्योंकि वो अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ में नहीं रहती है, तो उसने कहा कि मेरी बुआ जी ने कहा एक तो तू हमारे पास है बिकॉज तेरे पेरेंट्स ने मुझे संभालने के लिए बोला है, तो मैं नहीं चाहती कि तू इतना पढ़े लिखे क्या काम आएगा तेरे, तो तू घर का काम कर. तो उसने मुझे फोन किया, तो मैंने कहा अगर मैं खुद से आपके घर पे बात करने जाऊंगी तो शायद वो नहीं समझेंगे. तो मैंने उसको एक सजेशन दिया कि आप कॉल करो चाइल्ड हेल्पलाइन नंबर पर. तो उसने कॉल किया. फर्स्ट टाइम में उसको कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं मिला, तो उसने 2-3 बार ट्राई किया बट उसको कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आया. एंड शी सेड कि दीदी मेरी हेल्प नहीं हो रही है. तो मैंने कहा एक बार तुम फिर से ट्राई करो. फिर उसने ट्राई किया, फिर उसने कॉल की, फिर उसके घर पे बातचीत हुई. तो थोड़ा ये हुआ कि किसने तेरे को सिखाया है, कौन है जो तेरे पीछे ये है, बट उसने कुछ नहीं कहा. तो उसने जो मेरे साथ में काम करते थे, जो मेरे सीनियर थे, वो मैंने उनसे भी बात की कि ऐसे ऐसे हुआ है. तो उन्होंने कहा कि तुम शेयर मत करना, तुम कहना कि मैंने खुद से कॉल किया है. तो उसने कॉल किया. उसके बाद में उसकी फैमिली कन्विंस हुई. उसके बाद में उसने 12th की एंड अब वो अपने पेरेंट्स के पास है और वो एंट्रेंस क्लियर करने के लिए तैयारी कर रही है एंड अभी वो IAS की भी कोचिंग ले रही है. तो ये मेरे लिए था.
Thank you, Anjali. Or I can just quickly translate this for everyone that what Anjali meant was there was somebody in her community, her friend, who was asked to discontinue studying. So that girl reached out to Anjali, and Anjali actually helped her negotiate with the family and also told her which helpline number she should reach to. So I think Anjali is also a very active bystander in the community, and she's also a role model for many of her peers. So thank you, Anjali, for that. So taking on from here, I think I also want to share a little bit about Breakthrough and its media work. So we work a lot around pop culture and popular culture, and we try to break and deconstruct the patriarchal notions that are always shown in popular culture. So we have Barsha with us, who's part of the media team. And over to you, Barsha, if you can share with us that how through the media work and how do we engage with the popular media and culture in order to bring about a norm change narrative.
What we try to do is we actually see media both as a tool and media as a space. So अभी जो अंजलि अपनी कहानी बता रही थी, ऐसे ही what we try to do is we through our media handles, like we are there in all our social media handles, we do create a lot of stories, we do create a lot of short films, basically to make people understand that कि जो जेंडर नैरेटिव है, जो जेंडर नॉर्म्स और जेंडर नैरेटिव जो अभी सदियों से पुश किया जा रहा है, कैसे हम उसका ऑल्टरनेटिव पर्सपेक्टिव भी देखें. तो अभी मैं एक उदाहरण लेना चाहूँगी. अभी अंजलि ने बाईस्टैंडर की बात की है कि कैसे वो एक बहुत सही बाईस्टैंडर के रूप में उसने काम किया है. So we have this campaign, and Breakthrough is very famous for its bystander work. We started our journey with something called Bell Bajao, doing the Bell campaign. I think it's very famous, all of you know. And if you remember the campaign, the video where for the first time we actually spoke about how domestic violence is not a personal matter, how domestic violence or any kind of form of violence against girl or women, it's a matter of the society, it's a concern for the society. तो as a society हम सबको आगे आना पड़ेगा इसको स्टॉप करने के लिए. हम सिर्फ सर्वाइवर के ऊपर डिपेंड नहीं कर सकते हैं कि वही सब कदम उठाए, वही बात करे, वही रेजिस्ट करे. पर हम लोगों ने देखा है कि सोसाइटी का कितना इंपॉर्टेंट रोल होता है टू बेसिकली सपोर्ट द बाईस्टैंडर एंड ऑल्सो टू स्टॉप वायलेंस. फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे अंजलि ने कहा कि उन्होंने एक नेगोशिएट करने की कोशिश की. उन्होंने सोचा कि अच्छा कैसे हम लोग थोड़ा थोड़ा बहुत नेगोशिएट कर सकते हैं, छोटे छोटे नेगोशिएशन. तो आई वांट टू आल्सो लाइक शो यू अ फिल्म एंड देन बेसिकली एक्सप्लेन कि हम लोग कैसे एक कैंपेन डिज़ाइन करते हैं हमारे सोशल मीडिया के लिए और क्या क्या हमारे मेन की स्ट्रैटेजी और अप्रोच रहता है. सो आई जस्ट या इज इट ऑडिबल?
नेताजी, सीनियर सिटीजन फर्स्ट.
देख के अनदेखा नहीं, कुछ करने का वक्त है. इग्नोर नो मोर.
सो आप इस फिल्म में देख सकते हैं कि दैट आई मीन हाउ bystander interventions are such smaller, easier step we can take. So when we started working on bystander intervention, we realized that the idea of bystander intervention is something very heroic. So you need to, like it's in the films, like in Bollywood heroes, like they basically chase, beat up the goons and save the princess. So but in reality we have realized that bystander intervention doesn't work like that. You don't need to be that brave. What you need to be is smarter. So when we develop a campaign, what we do is we break down these ideas, whatever ideas, perception we have in our head, that okay, this is how bystander intervention is. So what we do is we break down that okay, as a bystander you can do 1 2 3 4 5 things, because a lot of times what we have realized कि लोगों को, people do have intention to intervene, people do want to intervene, people do not find that okay, this is something very good happening. They know what is violence and this is not acceptable, but often they do not know what to do with it. Often they feel overwhelmed in a situation that oh I don't know how to stop this. So one of our main agenda through the campaign is to give people ideas, make them understand that okay, you just have to be mindful, you have to be smarter, you have to think of the situation and diffuse a lot of time. So there are different processes of like distracting, you can directly engage, you can also call other people to get involved, because often it happens that the situation gets intimidating, you don't know how to react, you don't feel safe yourself. So these are like different kinds of ideas what we try to do, the alternative ideas to the existing norm and gender roles. Then it's very important to know the language of the audience. If we are talking to youth and we are using some language which youth are not well versed with, then it might not work. So it's very important that we understand what kind of language youth use or what kind of other content they consume. So what we found is like popular culture or Bollywood or any OTT, any song, these kind of things actually tend to create more engagement. You can actually talk about very serious and heavy things in a much more consumable, much more easy way, and much more relatable way. Actually, people can relate to films more easily. So when we're talking about violence, we do use a lot of film references. We do talk about like how in films the violence are shown and how that basically influence all of us. Like by growing up all these films, all this popular narrative, they have influenced us. We even don't realize how. So basically questioning those things, countering those things, um, uh, and looking at it in a different way. At the same time, there are very interesting films where there are very positive examples of how women are actually like countering violence every day, or their own way of doing it, or women's stories as such, which is not there even that much even till today. But talking about different stories, different experiences, we do use a lot of audiovisual material because we think that that is something which easily grabs your attention. You tend to look at a content which is mobile, which moves, and so while scrolling up, it's very important that how do we grab the attention of the people. We also work with a lot of influencers, social media influencers, youth influencers, and engage with them with our messaging, talking to them about their journey, a lot of and coming out of this binary of like man woman, but like engaging with lot with the sexuality spectrum, people with diverse sexual identity, caste identity, and basically talking about their experience, and what has been their journey in this whole gender justice. Role modeling is something like, for example, Anjali is a role model, and we have we have youth like Anjali in different areas where we work. So basically sharing such stories with others, that it's not necessary you have to be in like somewhere and receive like some amount of, we belong to some class or some identity to become something, but you can achieve your dreams like Anjali did. So she is a role model for many such girls who will aspire to be like her. So basically promoting such stories. So that is one bit of our work. The other bit what we do is, as I'm constantly talking about that how media influences us, we do work with the content creators. So for example, we have engaged with film directors, filmmakers, like Vikramaditya Motwani, or Alankrita Srivastava, those like eminent filmmakers who have made films and who have used violence in their films. So we recently did one talk show with Varun Grover, and there we basically try to explore that why they use violence, and why they use violence in a particular way, or is there any other way to talk about violence, because it is not so easy, so I mean, for example, somebody wants to talk about caste atrocity, you have to show violence to make people understand that how gruesome caste atrocity is. So we cannot blatantly reject violence like that, because it's also part of our everyday life. It's a reality. But how do we basically show that? How do we project such things? And there we decided to consciously work with the content creator, because ultimately they are creating content, and that is what we are consuming. So at the same time, when we are talking about critical consumption, that you need to engage with the content very critically, it is important also to work with these makers who are creating this content. So we are also planning to do like a writers adda, where we are getting the budding writers, screenwriters on board, and do a workshop, working with them and making them understand that how do they include gender into their role and everything. So yeah, so more or less this is what we do. You can also please go to our social media handles, it's Breakthrough India, and you will get like a larger idea of what all we do through our media. Thank you.
That was very interesting, and I think for the audience also, if it's helpful for you to understand that how, in order to bring about a norm change, we are addressing at different levels. So one is of course the school level, one is at the community level, and also the whole young and the youth generation that uses the media and pop culture, how our work actually tries to make a impact on that as well. And also I think like all of our speakers spoke, so when we talk about norm change and shifts, we are actually trying to bring in a generational shift, which will not happen through one or two people alone. And that's why we are also reaching out to the communities to the larger society, which will act as a support system and help in the creation of a more gender equitable society. So quickly, just to wrap up now, if I can go to all my speakers and to start with Abhishek, if you have any 2-3 concrete recommendations on how do you foresee as this kind of a norm shift coming in, if you have anything to share on top of the line suggestions.
There are so many things we have discussed. Like अगर हमें बात करनी है सपोज रिकमेंडेशन की, और क्योंकि हम ये जो प्रोग्राम है ये एक, जैसे आपने कहा कि एक पूरा जनरेशनल शिफ्ट की तरफ हम देखते हैं, तो इट्स डेफिनेटली नॉट गोइंग टू डिलीवर विद 1 or 2 पीपल. लाइक अगर हमें एडोलेसेंट के साथ काम करना है तो हम सिर्फ एडोलेसेंट के साथ नहीं काम कर सकते हैं, हमें उस पूरी कम्युनिटी के साथ काम करना होगा. तो पहला जो रिकमेंडेशन मेरा ये कि पेरेंट्स और कम्युनिटीज़ के जो पीपल हैं उनके साथ मोर इंटेंसली हमें काम करना होगा. सेकेंडली, हम ऑलरेडी चेंज देख रहे हैं थ्रू लाइक अंजलि जो यहाँ पर उसने शेयर भी किया, तो हमें एक जनरेशन लाइक बिल्ड करनी पड़ेगी, और उसमें जो यूथ लीडरशिप है, क्योंकि एक हमने लंबा समय बिताया है, तो वहाँ पर हमें यूथ लीडरशिप डेवलप करनी पड़ेगी जो कि इन मुद्दों को लेकर के आगे आए और उस पर डिस्कशन करें, अपनी कम्युनिटीज़ में लोगों को अवेयर करें, और साथ में वो कनेक्ट, क्योंकि कनेक्शन का बहुत बड़ा मैटर रहता है, जहाँ पर कि लोग जो ये जेंडर बेस्ड डिस्क्रिमिनेशन या वायलेंस अगेंस्ट वुमेन एंड गर्ल्स, इसको वो अपना मुद्दा समझते ही नहीं है. वो जो लाइक हम पॉप कल्चर के थ्रू भी लेकर के आ रहे हैं कि वो उनका लाइक इंडिविजुअल नहीं है, वो एक सोसाइटी या एक कम्युनिटी उसको रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. तो वहाँ पर ये यूथ लीडरशिप बहुत मदद करती है. तो पेरेंट्स और कम्युनिटी के साथ साथ यूथ लीडरशिप को भी हमें डेवलप करना है.
अहम मुद्दा पॉइंट आउट किया, वेयर as breakthrough we want to create this narrative that violence is not a private issue and that it's a public issue, and that's why we are kind of aiming to prevent it at different levels. So Ramneek, over to you next, if you want to share some insights or key recommendations from your end on how this a norm change initiative.
So I think that one of the things that comes to mind is that we also need to constantly push the envelope when it comes to changing gender norms, especially because I think the change in the gender norms as of yesterday need updating today. I mean, which is the case with everything in the world because change is the only constant. But I feel that engaging in conversations about diversity, relationships, bodies, all of that with an open mind is very, very key. And it is like the first step to ensuring that we are able to create norm changes which are required in that context and to create a gender equitable society. So that is one thing which I feel is really, really critical. I also feel that what Abhishek said in terms of just the socio-ecological approach and the importance of it. So in my work with adolescents and youth, I've realized that a facilitated space where they can explore themselves, become more aware, build their agency, leadership, that is very, very key in also creating norm change work, because we can see the power of engaging with impressionable minds, adolescents and young people, and also seeing the way they can bring change, negotiate in the community. We have seen Anjali's example here right now. I also feel like, obviously Abhishek shared, but yeah, in parallel, focusing on also creating enabling environment around young people and enabling ecosystems is obviously very, very important, where we work with parents, with teachers, with Panchayati Raj institutions, with religious leaders, with frontline workers. All of these people are part of the larger ecosystem where young people can take leadership and action. It's important that we are able to work with them to ensure that a support system is also created where the young people can flourish really and they can succeed and take leadership in changing the rigid norms. I also feel that like spaces for more intergenerational dialogues where both sides can listen to each other with greater empathy, where they can understand each other's perspectives, worldviews, upbringing. All of that, I think, can also enable a better negotiation position for young people to be able to work towards norm changes. And I think what Varsha was sharing when she was talking about how sharing more about these stories is so key. So I think just examples of these lived experiences of leadership, success stories of adolescents, youth, all of these, and also I think the crucial role that the support system plays in also creating these lived experiences and also ensuring the norm changes that are happening. I think all of those need to be really widely shared across because sharing these is also part of creating a ripple effect of change.
That we do create a lot of content online and also our flagship curriculum, which is Taro Ki Toli. So whatever change we see at the community, we share those stories in order to create an alternative positive narrative around norm change, that norm change is possible and this is how we are showing it. So thank you for your deliberations. So Barsha, if you have any sharing on the key takeaways or recommendations.
Yeah, thank you, Pooja. I think Abhishek and Ramnik, both of you have covered most of my points. I just wanted to flag a couple of things. I think one is youth are not a homogeneous group. I think we should not assume and then engage with them. I think we should first learn from them what are the gender challenges they're facing, and then basically curate our program or campaign or messaging, whatever we are doing, on the basis of that. Understanding their practices and challenges, I think it's very important. It's very important to basically suggest actionable ideas. It's we have seen it's not wise to suggest ideas which is not doable or which is very intensive. So yes, that is one. And I think it's for all of us, not only for adolescents or youth, but all of us as a society to consume popular culture more critically. We need to understand what is there behind the song, what is there behind the lyrics, what is there behind how it is promoting a certain gender role or gender polarization or other polarization or discrimination. So it is very important that we look at it, we call it out, we propose alternative ideas, and and I think as Ramnik rightly said, it's a very tough job. It's not something it's just going to change overnight. So we have to continuously push the envelope, and I think that is how we'll have more Anjalis with us. That's it. That's from my side.
So thank you. I think we'll end today's event with Anjali, and I think she also wants to share quickly some bits from her end. So Anjali, over to you.
तो मेरा एक तब मेरे को ब्रेक थ्रू ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से कोई पढ़ाने आया था स्कूल में. तो शुरू में मेरा बिल्कुल इंटरेस्ट नहीं था. मुझे लगता था आ जाते हैं टाइम वेस्ट करने. और मेरा मैथ्स भी बहुत वीक था, तो मुझे लगता था मेरे मैथ्स के पीरियड में आते हैं पढ़ाने भी, तो मैं नहीं लेती थी क्लासेस. बट फिर मेरे टीचर ने मुझे धक्के से बैठाया कि नहीं लो, अच्छा है, तो मैंने लेना शुरू किया. उसके बाद में वो लाइफ स्किल्स की क्लासेस देने आते थे, तो मैंने देखा कि यार ये तो मेरे साथ भी हो रहा है घर में और बाहर भी, क्योंकि मेरे और मेरे भाई में बहुत डिफरेंस है. तो भाई वो खाना खुद डाल के नहीं खा सकता, बट मैं खुद डाल के खा सकती. तो ये सारी चीजें. उसके बाद मैंने धीरे धीरे घर में बात शुरू करनी की. उसके बाद में मैंने खुद के लिए नेगोशिएट किया, बाहर भी किया. उसके बाद में मेरी 12th कंप्लीट हुई, तो मेरी जो ग्रैंड मदर है उन्होंने कहा कि पास के कॉलेज में एडमिशन ले लो. तो मैंने कहा नहीं, मुझे तो बाहर जाना है, मुझे DU में पढ़ना है, या फिर मुझे इधर GU में एडमिशन दिलाओ. तो शी सेड कि नहीं, बाहर नहीं जाना, माहौल खराब है. तो मेरी बेस्ट फ्रेंड है, उसने मेरा एडमिशन कराया. और एडमिशन भी ऐसे ही नहीं हुआ था, घर पे बहुत ज़्यादा बातें की, मेरे पापा ने मेरा सपोर्ट किया मुझे, तब मेरा एडमिशन हुआ. तो मैं सभी गर्ल्स को, यूथ गर्ल्स को यही कहना चाहूँगी कि अपने लिए घर पे बात करो, नेगोशिएट करो, तभी आप कुछ कर सकते हो, क्योंकि अगर हम बात नहीं करेंगे तो शायद हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते। एंड जब मैंने अपने घर में बात शुरू करने की तो मेरे फादर को एक बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना था, तो उन्होंने मुझसे पूछा कि बेटा मुझे एक बिजनेस करना है, क्या मेरे लिए सही होगा? तो मैंने वहां पे खुद को बहुत प्राउड फील किया कि अरे मुझसे क्यों पूछ रहे हैं भाई, मुझसे क्यों पूछ रहे हैं, मुझसे तो कभी कुछ नहीं पूछा, ऐसे बिजनेस के लिए मुझसे क्यों पूछ रहे हैं? तो वो मोमेंट मेरे लिए इतना प्राउड का था कि हाँ आज मेरे बाबू मुझे कुछ समझते हैं कि हाँ मैं उनको वो कर सकती हूँ, राइट कर सकती हूँ।
Thank you, and I think Anjali is also Anjali is proud of herself, and we are also very proud of Anjali. And these, I mean, हमारा जो school based curriculum है तारों की टोली, I think some of the life skills that we try to convey to the youth is around negotiation, aspiration, intergenerational dialogue. So I would like to thank all my panelists, and do we have any questions or any deliberations from the participants? Or else I think we are right on time. So thank you everyone for joining us in this conversation. So Alicia, should we just log out? I mean,
I would extend heartfelt thanks to everyone. Being a student of gender studies myself, this was extremely enlightening. I mean, the kind of initiatives that you guys have taken up to sort of engage with the youth, because we understand that, you know, the generation above us, they already have a particular mindset and they already have some sort of conditioning which is very difficult to sort of negotiate and change at this point. But effectively engaging with the youth and young adolescents and young adults and adolescents is something that can sort of drive a good mentality, mindset, and then again bring changes, because I think it is very youth and young adults' minds are very impressionable, and engaging with them in through things which appeal to them, like you mentioned, you know, popular culture and sort of the language that appeals to the youth, that is very, very effective. And especially the bystander initiative is very good. This is extremely nice. I mean, I was aware of this because I have seen the campaigns, and thank you for explaining it. And it's extremely good to see Anjali sort of stand up for herself and also for people who reach out to her. So I think overall this was extremely enlightening. At least personally to me, this was very good. And I am very grateful for everyone to share your views and opinions on this, and striving towards a more gender equitable world is what we want to do. Thank you for participating. Thank you to the team of Breakthrough to participate with us. This was extremely amazing. Thank you so much. We will get back to you with the recording, and in case you want to showcase the recording people to your end, we'll get to that as well. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for your support also, Alicia, and thank you to the participants.